All right, welcome back to another session of Pellet Tech 101. I'm here with the Harman Accentra freestanding. We're going to go through a distribution blower change, also known as a convection fan. So we're just going to kind of walk you through the steps on how you pull this blower out and how you pull this blower back in, and just go through some of the things on the electrical a little bit. Both the Harman Accentra freestanding uses this blower. The XXV will also use this blower, and I believe there might be another model that's in there, like the P35i. But this is what we call like an open squirrel cage EVM blower that's located in here. As you can see, I have the unit fully turned around right here. I've removed the side panels, two 5/16 screws that we loosen on either side to slide those side panels out, one side to the other, and then from there we can kind of expose this area. Again, getting to this blower can be very difficult if it's wedged into a corner or against a wall very closely. So like I recommended with the combustion blower video, a lot of times removing this quick disconnect exhaust hub and physically being able to pull that stove away from the wall to give yourself more working room really can be a great tip. As we get started here, we're going to need a 3/8" deep well socket with a ratchet. We can also be able to use a 3/8" nut driver on here if we want, but I'm going to go ahead and get started right now with these two bolts. So we have two primary bolts down here that are holding this fan in place. Generally speaking, these bolts aren't too tough to bust loose. It's a little bit of a tight space that's in here, but generally speaking, not too tough to bust these guys loose. We've got both bolts out right here, so the fan is technically loose. Now the key is, as we're going to pull this, we're going to lift up kind of on this base, and as we pull it out, we're kind of lifting up while we do it. Gently, carefully, I'm not forcing anything at all. Just like that. And you'll see this come out, and it'll obviously stop to a point as we have to disconnect our wires right here, which we'll go through. So let's just do that real quick. So we have our green and yellow stripe right here, which is going to be a ground. This goes on that upper tab, or that upper spade right there, just above where the ground is for the combustion fan. So let's release that ground wire right there. And we have a light blue going to a white, and we have a dark blue going to dark blue. So I'm just going to grab our two pliers right here, move around to the other side. Let's get these disconnected. Just like that. Sometimes those male and female connectors can be kind of tight. Sometimes easier with the pliers. All right. Now the blower is fully loose right here. First thing I want to point out is the electrical connections to the motor. You'll see a labeling of 1, 2, and 3. Now this is a newer Accentra freestanding model. I believe this is a 2019 model right here, but there is variances. So this newer model has the updated control board on it, which is why we have an empty spade right here on the number 3. Now the earlier model Accentras, what they had is they had kind of a rocker switch. So when you would flip open the the control board right here, there was a rocker switch on the inside with a high-low, kind of an additional speed for this distribution blower. And if you have one of those earlier models, you will have a wire that comes down that goes to that number 3. So if you're replacing this blower in one of those older units, you will have a third wire, and that is going to connect to this number 3 spade. If you have a newer model that does not have that rocker switch, you're simply going to leave a blank spade connector right here on the number 3. It is very important that we follow these wires and we make sure that they're attached correctly. 1 going to 1, 2 going to 2. This particular blower, it is very important that we make sure that our wires are going to the correct spades. So those are the basics there for it. You have any questions as you're going through it, we can always look over an electrical schematic or an electrical guide for it. But just know that this number 3 is only for units that had that additional rocker switch that was on the inside of the control panel. As you can see, the blower is mounted to a plate right here. So what we want to do is we get a new replacement blower. I would pull out these screws right here for this mounting base of this mounting plate, and I would place this on to the new blower right here before we go ahead and assemble that in. As you can see, as I pull this out, we got a bunch of unburnt pellets that are sitting back there. So before I go ahead and pop that blower back in, we're just going to clean that out a little bit. Sometimes as we're filling the hopper and things can spill a little bit, but it's good to have this area without unburned pellets in it. So we're just going to kind of wipe those out just like that. I suppose I can get in here with a can of compressed air if I wanted to really clean this out, but for the most part I'm just looking to get those big chunks of pellets out. I got that done. We can go ahead and we can put the blower back in. So again, as we put the blower back in right here, I'm going slow on the other side, and then as I kind of get to this point, I'm going to kind of tip it up just like that, and you will see slots on this back side where that's going to kind of fit in place, and you'll see where those holes reline back up for those 3/8 bolts right there, just like that. Before I lock it in, I am going to go ahead and reattach our electrical. So the green wire right here, this wrapped around that intake tube. So I want to do that exact same thing. Take this, I'm going to wrap it around that intake tube. And again, we attach that green ground to that top spade right there. And again, I'm going to take my lead wires right here. And again, we had a light blue that went to the white. We had a dark blue that went to a dark blue. Just like that. We're going to take those wires and we're just going to kind of, and actually as you see, I have them on the opposite side of the cord here, which may cause some problems. So I'm actually going to disconnect that. A little tight. Come on, there we go. We'll wrap it around that power cord there from the inside, so we're not interfering with that at all. Pull these guys back down. And again, light blue to white. And dark blue to dark blue. Just like that. And the nose tucked right in on that inside edge. Just like that. I'm going to grab my 3/8" bolts. Again, just kind of lining it up. Always great to have good lighting. It makes a world of difference. No matter what you're working on, have good lighting. Just threading in a little bit by hand. Go to the other side, do the same thing. A little tighter on this side. But I want to kind of double check that hole real quick. There we go. Just like that. Just start with our fingers a little bit. No need to crank these down. We just want them snug. There we go. Nice and snug. So that is the replacement of a distribution convection blower and a Harman Accentra. Same type of deal on an XXV. Any questions? Please leave a message in the comment below. We're always happy to help. And we thank you again for joining us for another session of Pelletech 101, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.